at Salesforce. So I'm the specialist on everything what MuleSoft and Salesforce has to offer in terms of like automation. I've joined Salesforce a little bit over 2 years ago when they start promoting RPA, and I've joined as an RPA expert, working as a solution architect before delivering many automations in my previous job. So today we will be focusing on IDP, but there could be some other technologies mentioned in the call just in case. It's a forward-looking statement, that some of the features may not be yet available. So first of all, thank you very much for Isabel for hosting me again, and for you for taking an interest in Salesforce products, especially the new product, relatively new product, which is called Intelligence Document Processing. The product been launched in April, so it's a still very fresh product. And it's a product that actually drives lots of attention within our customers. I personally been presenting that for the over 5 months now to our customers, and every single customer I presented it to, they've said that they haven't seen anything like that in the market so far. So I think we are quite successful with this product. So I'm even more happy that I can show it to you today. So starting from the beginning, before I actually show you the product, first, why MuleSoft created the intelligent document processing. So first of all, we proved over the years, and the statistics also, say that automation is very successful. Automation generally is helping the businesses to drive operational efficiency and increase the employee productivity. There's many other benefits of automations like compliance and customer satisfaction and employee satisfactions. So we knew automation is not new. Automation over the years, brought significant improvements to the business operations globally, to any business. What the problem, however, is that majority of organizations is still processing a huge amount of paper scanned documents. And trust me or not, I was recently speaking to a huge customer, a global customer, and they still encapsulating a loads of data. They still saving a loads of data in PDF files. They actually making a customer due diligence. So they're collecting information from multiple websites. So they're making a proper research on their business customers. And then they capturing screenshots and they saving all this information into PDFs, creating like 120 pages long documents. And that's how they store information about their customers. So it's shocking, but this statistics I'm presenting on the right hand side, 80% of organizational data is buried in documents, is still true, right? So you can think about any type of documents. You can think when you're applying for a loan, when you're applying for a I don't know. I was recently applying for a citizenship in the UK, or if you're applying, or if your company processing invoices, purchase orders, or verifying IDs, these are all scanned images, scanned documents, that someone has to process. Someone has to physically copy the information from these documents and enter that in the existing systems, right? So that is actually what's slowing down the automation, right? So you can automate the process, you can apply the RPA, robotic process automation, orchestration, and other integration. But however, if your data are stored in the documents, obviously you need to somehow access these documents. And the company's been trying to do that over the years, and obviously optical character recognition technology, it's not new technology. I've been developing the OCR solutions 15 years ago. But the problem is, there are no two documents that looks the same. Yeah, the documents always varies. Invoices coming from 100 different vendors, IDs obviously coming from are all different, right? Been developing the POC for university here in the UK, and they have passports, and the passports coming from all over the world. Yes, we have students coming from every single country in the world. So the solution need to be robust to deal with different documents, different layouts of the documents. And traditional OCRs, they really struggle to recognize these documents. You had to create a dedicated solution that is looking for the specific looking for the information in the specific place on the document. But as invoices are a great example. Every vendor has its own invoice layout, so sometimes the invoice number is in the right top corner, sometimes it's on the left top corner, and sometimes it's in the middle of the document. So you cannot hard code it. Yes, you need to have something more intelligent that will be able to detect it automatically. And also another problem is whenever there was a need for create the kind of documents processing solution, you had to create, the companies had to create some sort of ways that allows the users to validate the extracted data, right? So ideally, everyone wanted to have like an interface that allows them to compare the original document with the extracted information. On top of that, they wanted to have some capabilities that allows them to check the accuracy of this extraction. How the business can be sure that recognized characters are actually what they are. Yeah. So with all these limitations, MuleSoft decided to address these limitations, right? And also on top of that, we wanted to create a solution that you will be able to plug in to your existing automation or integration projects. Yes, as you see on the left-hand side, the existing technology struggles to work with evolving tech stacks. Yeah, so of course you may have a great OCR, documents character recognition solution, but integrating that with your automation or with your integration project sometimes pose significant challenges. Yeah, it wasn't easy. You can purchase ABI, you could purchase Kofax, and we actually had one customer who decided to go with MuleSoft replacing Kofax. They had Kofax, and it was sort of like okay-ish, but it wasn't able they were not able to automate the whole process. Yeah, so they had the Kofax, but the people still had to manually upload the document to Kofax and then process the extracted information. So it was not possible, or they didn't have a skill set to actually plug it in easily to your end-to-end automation. And also quite often this kind of solutions were not cost effective. It was difficult to find the ROI. It was difficult to predict the costs of these solutions. But the most importantly, and I have example because before IDP was introduced, we had the company who partner, our Salesforce partner, who was delivering the invoice processing solution to one of our customer in the UK, and they processing 1,000 invoices a day. And that was before the IDP was introduced, and the company spent 6 months delivering invoice processing using our RPA and AWS because of the variety of the documents, because of the number of checks that the automation had to make after the data being extracted from the invoices. The project took 6 months. So you can imagine how expensive it is to create this kind of solution, right? Because you first need to find the people who are skilled enough to create this, and then obviously have the budget that allows you to create this kind of project. Now imagine that you are a smaller company, not a huge chain of private hospitals. Maybe you're processing like 50 or 100 invoices a day. You wouldn't have a budget to create this complex invoice processing solution. So that's the reason why MuleSoft decided to address all this issue and create intelligent documents processing. So first of all, what is the intelligent document processing and why it is different from normal OCR? So OCR, as you can see, at the top, is used within the intelligent document processing, but it's accompanied with ICR, NLP, machine learning, and computer vision, right? So it's taking the OCR to the next level, yeah. So obviously the first step in this data extraction is the OCR. Yes, we have to turn the image text into the meaningful letters, characters, etc., etc. Yeah. So this is what we take. It's a document intake. We captured unstructured and semi-structured documents. So first we the IDP solution is receiving this kind of document, then it's doing that document extraction. And that document extraction, obviously, OCR is one of the technology that's taking part in this document extraction. Then the second step is data structuring. So our solution is trying to categorize the captured information, yes? So traditional OCRs, they've been just receiving text, and you had a bunch of text, unstructured, okay, it was the text that was appearing on the document, but what could you do with this text? Yeah, it was very difficult to actually extract the specific information from this extraction. So now with use of machine learning, the solution is trying to identify the type of data, right? So whenever you're passing the invoice, for example, it will not only extract the text from the document, but it will also try to categorize each element of this text. So for example, it will try to identify what is the invoice number, what is the total value, what is the purchase order number, and so on, so on. Yeah, and then the last step is obviously give the ability to, as I said, plug this solution to your integration project. So you can do something with the data. You can pass this data straight to ERP system, or you can further process the extracted information. So what are the benefits? And you can see that for the first time, probably the screenshot of our IDP solution. You will see that in great details in a few minutes. So what are the benefits of having the intelligent documents processing? First, maximize efficiency and minimize the costs. So first of all, the tool we created, the IDP, was designed for a business user. So the idea is, as you will see in the demo, is that the business user, the person who is processing the documents, will be able to define and create the IDP component that then can be published to Anypoint Exchange. And automation or integration specialists can utilize this component in the project, in the automation or integration project, yes. And because this is designed for the business users, there is no coding needed for pure data extraction. It accelerates drastically the time needed to create this kind of solution. Yes, so you don't need a bunch of developers that will be working with the documents trying to extract the data. The business person will be able to define it. Yeah. Also, as I said, because IDP can be plugged into automation, you can integrate it with extracted data with downstream systems for a fully streamlined workflow. So for example, if your process involves like a decision making, so after the IDP done its magic and extracted and categorized all the information, when you plug it to your automation, for example, you may have a business logic that says if the invoice value is exceeding £1,000 or $1,000, someone needs to verify this document, but everything below $1,000, just process it automatically and enter that to our ERP system. Yeah. And accelerate time to market. Currently, we have 2 templates. So we have a dedicated templates, and you will understand what the template is in a couple of minutes. We have one template for invoices, and we have one template for purchase orders. They are in the roadmap plans to add more templates, especially for IDs like driving licenses and passports, and for sales orders, I think, and a couple more documents as well. But even if you don't have a template, you will be able to process pretty much any type of PDF or JPEG or PNG document through the system, and I will show you how. So just to understand the MuleSoft and Salesforce automation products in a little bit more. So starting from the top, we have orchestration tool. So the orchestration is the kind of solution. It's very brief, so I can show you so you can understand where you can plug in this IDP component. So you can plug it into your orchestration flow, right? So if you're building an orchestration flow in Salesforce, you can take the document, for example, from Salesforce. You're storing the document in Salesforce and you want to extract the information from it. So you will be able to do it via orchestration. You can get the file stored in Salesforce and you can pass it through IDP. IDP then extracts all the information and the orchestration carries on. Yeah. The same is with the builder. Builder is a low-code user interaction and task automation. So if you are familiar to Salesforce, you know what the flow builder probably is. So again, you can do the same in builder. You can pass the document to IDP. Then we have Anypoint and Composer. Anypoint, our integration platform. Composer, integration platform for the business users. Again, because intelligent document processing component is published as an API, you obviously very easy will be able to execute this API from those platforms. And last but not least, if you like working with RPA, if you have a need, if you creating a robotic process automation project, then there is already an out-of-the-box component that allows you can drag and drop, add it to your RPA, and then just select from the drop down which IDP component you would like to use. So that's how this IDP works with our other automation products. Before I go into demo, well, I think we can leave the questions to the end. So maybe I need to unfortunately change the screen sharing because I have it on the different screen. So let me stop sharing this and now different screen. Yeah, so I hope you can see this, the second screen. So starting with IDP, and as I said, our IDP is using the machine learning and the AI already for this data extraction. As I said, it's using a number of techniques that allows the data extraction and classification. So it's using ACR, machine learning, and AI to classify and extract the information from all sorts of documents. And what are the main three actions for IDP component creation? So first, you configuring the document action. Yeah. The second step is you adding this component to your automate or RPA automation or integration project. And the third a pillar is execute and augment. So what we did also, our IDP solution is providing the human in the loop interface. So whenever there's any problems with data extraction, the extracted data quality does not meet your criteria, you can loop in the human. So the human is presented with a task and is presented with the user interface, allowing them to correct the data before they are outputted from the API. And in this demo, we have three sample personas. We have Anna. So Anna is an account payable. She is a person who is dealing with invoices on the daily basis. And she now has a task to create that IDP component for the invoices that she is processing every day. Then the second person, we have Tiffany. She is the automation developer. So she is actually building the integration solution that would require this IDP component. So she's building the invoice processing automation, and she will rely on the component created by Anna. And last but not least, we have John, and John has a document reviewer title. So basically, John is the persona that this task, when there is a problem with the data extraction, so the task will be assigned to John, and John will be reviewing these documents. So let's start with Anna. So to create an IDP component, it's very straightforward. You go to Anypoint platform. As you can see, there is an automation section, and under the automation section, you have the intelligent document processing. You click Get Started, and then you can browse, obviously, the previous IDP components, but you can create the new one. So let's create a new one. So you can see you can select a type of the document you want to extract the data from. So first, the generic document is highlighted, and generic document you can use for anything what is not invoices and purchase order, yeah? Because for invoices and purchase orders, we have a dedicated templates. So generic documents, if you have a use case where you have to extract information from passports, driving licenses, legal documents, anything else, you would use a generic document. And with generic documents, we don't have any predefined templates. You will be using a natural language to define your prompts. So you basically will be creating a questions, what information you're looking for within the generic document. Yeah. So for example, I was doing the use case for a large UK estate agency, and they wanted IDP for extracting certain information from the legal documents. So we've been passing the document to generic document, and some of my sample prompts were, what is the tenant name? What is the landlord name? What is the floor area? And so what is the length of the contract? Yeah. So usually this information are presented, the documents average document had like 48 pages, and usually this information are, some of the information as displayed on the page number 3, the other on the page number 20, and the other could be on the page 40. So before the IDP, someone had to go through all these documents, read them through, collect all this information manually, and got all the answers. So now with generic document, you can ask this question, and IDP will scan all document, extract all the information, and will try to find the answers for your questions. So that's how the generic document type works. However, in this demo, I want to show you the document that is templated. And when we have what do we mean by we have a template? So when you have a template, the MuleSoft defined this template because MuleSoft investigated that majority of the documents you're processing of this type of invoice will have a certain set of data. So in this case, because it's an invoice, we know that every invoice will have invoice date, invoice number, probably purchase order number, due date, subtotal, and so on and so on. It will also have a line items, which our IDP is also able to identify the line items and turn them into the structured object. So obviously, because in this demo we're processing invoices, I will use the invoice template. And this is the place where you defining the IDP, where Anna will be defining that. So she will be building that IDP component in this interface. So as you can see, because we're using the templated approach, we have this information that the IDP will be looking for in this section. As we can see, it will try to find the fields. It will try to identify and find the tables within the document. And for any information, if you would like to extract more information than the one that are contained in the fields, you will be able to create a prompt, and I will show you how to create the prompts as well. But what we do first, Anna needs to upload one or couple of sample documents. So that documents may be from the most common vendor. So you're uploading this document, and then you can click run. And because we're using a template, so now the IDP solution will try to identify all this information that are part of the template. So as you can see, we have a total value. So now you can click here. Well, we have total value, we have tables. So you can see that it identifying the line items. We have also the tables, and we have prompts. But when we go to totals, you can see, you can click here, and the tool is highlighting you from where on the page that total value was taken. Yeah. So, that's the beauty of IDP, that you don't have to define the exact location of the specific information, because the tool is extracting all the information and then using that ML and I to identify and categorize what this information is, right? So it doesn't matter if the total value will be on the first page, it will be on the second page, it will be at the top. It doesn't matter, because the IDP is trying to understand your document, not only blindly extract the information from it. Yeah. And what else do we have in here? Well, we have also, as you can see, we have the required checkbox. So you can uncheck this information if you know that my ERP doesn't really need, I don't need to capture the purchase order number. So if there will be a document that doesn't have it, it's not a big deal. Yeah, we can ignore this field. And the same story is with confidence levels. So you can see the solution is returning you the confidence level. And the confidence level is describing how confident IDP is that the extracted information A is extracted correctly. So all the characters are identified properly. And also how the solution is, what is the confidence that the type of the value is identified correctly. So what is the confidence that this P13240 is actually a purchase order number? Yes. So the confidence level, as you can see, is 79.86, and you can set the threshold to whatever you need. If you find that, oh, this is actually a correct number, so maybe I can lower my threshold to 75, that's fine. Yeah. So it's up to you. How do you set up the threshold level? And when you finish with configuring all the fields, you can of course click save. And when you click save, before you save, you are asked actually to assign a reviewer. Yeah. So just in case that the required field will be missing, so the IDP will not be able to identify the required value, or the confidence thresholds will be below the threshold, the solution will assign the task to a specific person or to a group of people. Here we selected a group of people and we click save. Yeah. So after you save it, then maybe you decide, but I actually want to add something because there's a specific information that is not included in the template, like purchase order date. I know that the purchase order date usually is on the invoice, but I want the solution also to find it. Yeah. So what you can do, you can give it a name, and then you can create an instruction. So you basically using the natural language, you're writing, yes, what is the purchase order date, right? And you click add, and then you can click run. So now you're doing the second run, and now you can see that IDP identified the purchase order date in here. Yes. So even if something is not in templates, or if you're using a generic type of the documents, you basically can create up to 30, I think, prompts to get the additional information you want to extract from this document. So that's the prompt. And of course, when you finish with the prompts, you're supposed to upload more documents to run it and see how your prompts work with the different documents, yeah, from different vendors and so on, yeah. So when you finish testing, you click save, and then you publish the document. And after the document is published, you will be able to view it in Exchange immediately. And then because it's added to Exchange, you will be able to call it from the orchestration, from any point, from everywhere. Yeah. So now when the IDP component for invoices in your organizations are published, now Tiffany, who is our automation developer, integration developer, now she's building the integration solution that monitors the mailbox. Whenever the email comes, it will identify if this is an invoice. And then depending if there is an attachment, yes, the process, the subflow that contains IDP component will be triggered. Yeah. So here we see that the procedure first downloads the attachments from the email, then authenticate, and then call IDP service. So it will call that IDP component Anna created, and it will pass the attachment file to this component. And now the IDP will use that, we'll check all these required fields if they exist in this document, we'll check the confidence levels, and it will also query that with the custom prompts you've added. Yeah. So this is all happening when you're executing the IDP. Yeah. So if you created like 20 prompts, every document you pass through this particular IDP will be asked with that 20 prompts. Yeah. And then if there is a need for the human in the loop, that also happens at this stage. Yes. So you see there is a get results. So basically the process will be waiting for IDP to finish. So if there is a human in the loop, the process will wait until someone will review and resolve any potential issues that appeared during the IDP process. Yeah, and only then, when all is finished, you see the last action is actually updating the NetSuite with extracted information. So that's how, obviously, that was endpoint, but it's even simpler to add it to RPA. It's sort of like simple also to add it to Salesforce. You're just importing the API, and then you can plug it into your builder and orchestration straight away. And the last person is John. So John will be reviewing the documents in case that the documents do not meet the confidence level thresholds, or the required fields are missing. So John, it's a John's daily routine. He has inbox, he has access to NetSuite. Well, not John. John doesn't have access to NetSuite. That NetSuite is where the end data will be uploaded. But John is receiving an email. So you can see this new review task created. So he can navigate to this task. And you can see he has a number of tasks, a number of invoices waiting for him to review. Not invoices. You can see the purchase orders as well. So now the IDP solution also displays him the extracted information, and also you can see the confidence level. Confidence level is below 80%, and remember, we've set it to 80%. So that's the reason why he has a task in his mailbox. If the thresholds would be above 80%, he wouldn't be involved. It would go straight to the NetSuite system. So actually, the reason why the confidence level is so low is because there is an additional adjusted total value, yes, and IDP wasn't able to define, okay, which one is more important. So now it's a human judgment, so the person can actually go and check, no, it's actually the 790 is the correct value. So he can modify it here, and he can then submit this page. And that IDP action for this particular document is now finished. Obviously, there's automatically the next document he can process. But now, because this action is finished, the API has been retriggered. And as you can see, all this information from this invoice appeared on this in NetSuite system. So that's how you're building and how you're using the IDP component. And now I need to stop sharing again and reshare my presentation. I just have a couple more slides, and then we can go straight to the Q&A. So what's next? So next, our product team is working on something which is even cooler. So we will include Einstein in our prompts, right? And I've already seen this in action, and it blows my mind. So at the moment, you can really create a simple queries, like you can ask about specific information that are displayed on the document. Yeah. So like in our example, we've been looking for a purchase order date. Yeah. There's a specific information. There is a purchase order date label, and then there is a purchase order date value. Yeah. So, or in that tenant name. Yeah. In the legal documents, there was a tenant name. Tenant is Mr. ABC. Yeah. So that were a specific information. However, when we will add Einstein to our IDP, and this is planned for September, end of this year, you will be able to create a much more complicated queries, right? So imagine that you're passing the legal documents, 40 pages. You will be able to create a prompt asking Einstein to actually summarize you this document. So instead of extracting specific information, maybe you would like to categorize, what this document is about. Also, there was a very interesting use case. I was working with local police for IDP, and they processing loads of crime reports, and they sort of had the measure to measure the severity of the crime. One of the measure was how many times the specific keywords appeared on the document. So for example, the keywords like knife or drug or drugs or weapon. So now with IDP and Einstein, you will be able to ask directly how many times a word knife appears in this document. Yeah. So Einstein, it works if you ever work with ChatGPT or Google Gemini. You know how it works. You're creating the prompt, you're passing a text, and then ChatGPT is quite good with working with text. So that's how Einstein will work. And of course, Einstein is our wrapper. So you will be able to choose your own preferred large language model. But you will have that Einstein protection, layer put on top of that, right? So if the company is processing like documents with very sensitive data so obviously the data will be extracted, but before the extracting information will be passed to LLMs, Einstein will apply this, anonymization of the personal information. Yes. So obviously this personal information will not go to LLMs. Yeah. And we also know that these data we send to LLMs will not be used for training their models as well. So that's why we call it Einstein, not LLMs directly. So we're planning to add Einstein within the next few months. As you can see at the very bottom, there is a pilot happening at the moment when we have a few customers who are already using our IDP, taking part in this pilot program. So they can already trial the Einstein, and be making sure that our product will be great when it's published. Talking about the Einstein, because IDP obviously is available straight away. So now I think we can go into Q&A. So I open the floor for questions.
Thanks, Rafa. I'm going to go through the Q&A, even if we've already answered it through the presentation, just to say it out loud in case folks might have had the same question and missed something in the presentation. So Maria kicks us off with, how can I create a new template regarding another type of document, as an example, medical orders?
Yeah. So as I said in the example, when you have any other type of document, you just use generic one, and then you will be able to create the prompts, right? So if, as I said, when I was passing that legal documents, I had to create these prompts. I had to tell IDP what information I'm looking for. Again, getting back to my legal agreements, what is the tenant name, what is the landlord name, what is the floor area. So I was creating that prompts using the natural language, and then document was the IDP was trying to find this information in this document. And this is how you're not building a template. So you're building your own IDP, because the templates, we refer to templates, something what MuleSoft created for you. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you. And then from Joyti, we have, do we have any limitation for number of fields that we want to extract within the generic type?
Yes. So currently, I think is like 30 prompts per IDP solution. So the number of fields you can extract is like, I think, limited 30. We also have the limitation in the length and the weight of the document. Yes. So I think the length of the document is something like 20 pages, and the weight of the document cannot exceed, I think, 10 megs or something like that. We have that detailed in the documentation, so we can always refer, because the numbers keep changing, because they obviously want to make it better. So these numbers quite often changed, but they are some limitations, yeah, in terms of how many prompts you can add into the single IDP solution.
Perfect. And then Diane asks, as the reviewer, would you need to have a platform account?
So as you've seen, actually the reviewer, this is the Anypoint user interface. So you would need to have access to the Anypoint platform, because it wasn't the Salesforce user interface. So you need to have an access to Anypoint platform, which I don't think you need any special user licenses for that.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Okay, so is the underlying AI engine completely internal for Salesforce, or does it use like external, like ChatGPT, which I think, yeah.
So yes, so there is a multiple solutions use for IDP's engine is still relying heavily on AWS Textstruct. So in AWS Textstruct, you have AWS Textstruct, AWS Tables, AWS Queries. And when we introduced Einstein, as I said, you will have the option to choose your preferred large language model. Yeah. So the IDP will be calling Einstein, but you will have a choice what's happening past Einstein. Yeah, so that's how it works. Einstein is just the wrapper, so Einstein anonymize your requests, and so on, and then you will be able to choose which LLM you want to use, and then it will be directed. The prompt will be directed to that specific LLM.
Mm-hmm. And I think this next question relates to when Einstein capabilities will be available for folks who are already using IDP. So Joy T asked, when will we be able to test this magic and access it on our platform? Just as a reminder, safe harbor, everyone. Don't make purchasing decisions on future available opportunities, but based off of what we have available today. But Rafa, do we have an idea of when this might be enabled for folks who are using IDP?
Yeah, so as I said, it will be available, and I will tell you what will be different to what you have now. So it will be available. As I said, there is a pilot program running now with the selected group of customers who already purchased IDP, and they volunteer to be a guinea pigs in the pilot, and they actually have access to this Einstein, trying to improve their IDP solutions with Einstein. Again, safe. I think it will be like beta version in September, and the official GA, I think it's November, December time. Again, don't want to give you a certain dates because it's very it fluctuates. The only difference will be, as far as I remember, nothing is confirmed. So again, forward-looking statements. Currently, when you pass the document, it consumes the automation credits, like everything with automation, right? So I think a single page is consuming 25 automation credits, right? So if your invoice has like 4 pages, it will consume 100 automation credits. If you decide to use Einstein, I think the consumption credits will increase. So again, you wouldn't probably have to purchase your own LLM access tokens, or whatever it's called, because this will be included in the MuleSoft IDP. However, then from what I heard, the consumption cost will increase. I don't know how much yet, because we are before the GA. But I think that was the most recent announcement, that this is how it's gonna to work. Yeah. So you will have that feature available straight away. You would just need to be mindful that when you decide to use Einstein for your prompts, then the consumption cost for processing these documents through this IDP will be higher.
Okay. And Diane, I'm not ignoring your question. I see the one about the link for partner nomination submissions. I believe this is in relation to the closed beta that's going on right now for Einstein. I do believe that is closed at this point, but I will double check for you and get back to you on that one. DS asks, do automation and Einstein come under the Titanium subscriptions, or do they need to be purchased separately?
So IDP comes as the part of the automation bundle. So to use the IDP, you would have to purchase the so-called automation bundle. So a set amount of automation credits, yeah. And when you're buying the automation credits, a set pool of automation credits, you will have access to not only IDP, you will have access to RPA orchestration, all our automation tools, yeah. And then you can use this automation credits wherever you want them to use. Yeah, if you want to consume all of them on IDP, that's no problem. If you want to spread and use some of them for your RPA projects or orchestration projects or IDP, then you are free to do that. Yeah. So you're not buying a specific product from us, you're buying the automation credits from us. Yeah. And then you're using them with the products that we give you.
Awesome. From Barnes, we have when Einstein version is generally available, will it be HIPAA compliant?
Will it be what? Compliant?
HIPAA compliant. So will it be able to handle the healthcare data documentation? Because they have really strict rules around how data is stored, shared, accessed. And maybe this is something we will have to check back in on, but I imagine because it's one of our big use cases, we would consider this.
I believe so. So we have to remember that, because you will be able to choose your large language model. If you know that a certain large language model like Google Gemini or ChatGPT is good at, answering your prompts involving this type of data, then exactly that's how the Einstein on IDP will work. And of course, the reason why we have Einstein first is just to make sure that all the sensitive data are not leaking to the LLM service providers. Yeah. But again, Isabella is, I think, answered that correctly. We have to check everything, before actually give you the 100% answer on that one.
And I imagine we will have language about this once this is GA, because I know that's probably going to be a very popular question. And then we have Brian who asks, if I understand Rafael's previous comment, it's that the document data is sent to AWS for processing. If this is correct, how is the data in documents protected from being used/harvested by AWS?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So because some of the customers ask us about it. So what we know that when we send the document to AWS, they do not store these documents. Yeah, they extract the information from these documents, and I think we have that in the white papers that they do not use this data for enhance their machine learning's capabilities. Yeah, so they are not used for train the models, because I don't think they even training the models anymore. I think the models are trained already, and especially when you're using a text extract for invoices. Can't remember the exact name of the AWS service for that. It's the models are already trained, but again, we have that in the official white papers. I would need to dig out the official sentence they use, because there is a chapter about that as well.
Mm-hmm. And then let's see. So if any field is missing from the extraction process, how would you handle that?
So if you mark, like, for example, total values or purchase order number as a required field in IDP, and the IDP will not be able to find this value on the document, that will trigger that human task. Yeah. So then the human task will have this document displayed on the left-hand side, and it will have that field displayed on the right-hand side. So the human will be able to try to identify, maybe manually, by browsing this document to that value. If the value is not there, then it's a separate question. You probably have to handle that differently, because if the value is not there, do you want that person who is reviewing this document contact someone to find out this purchase order number? Or perhaps when you're creating the automation project, you decide that if there is no purchase order and the human also cannot find the purchase order number on this, you providing like a keyword, no PO, and then automation, when you finish the API, automation has a decision. Oh, if there is no PO, that word that the person typed in, then I need to direct my automation to someone to actually look for this PO or try to assign this invoice to the particular purchase order. Yes. So the tool gives you the flexibility, but it's your business decision what you want to do. You can as well go, if you know that you're receiving an invoices without the purchase order, you can go and make this field not required, and then handle this exception outside of IDP. Handle that in maybe orchestration and create a human task past IDP for someone to look why there is no purchase order identified. Yeah. So there is a multiple ways what you can do. Yeah.
Awesome.
Hope it answered your question.
Okay, I think that is it for questions. I'll give it 20 more seconds just in case we have a last minute ask come in. But while we're waiting for any last minute questions, I already see one coming in. Can IDP process complex document types Form X12 Arena, or is IDP more intended for smaller, such as Accord?
So as I said, limitations. The limitation exists, and so I would encourage to familiarize with the documentation. Me and Isabella, we can share with you the link to the specific documentation page where all these limitations are listed. In terms of like complexity of the document, we've been working with medical forms, we've been working with invoices, legal documents, and the IDP was handling them correctly. The only thing you need to be good at prompt engineering, because despite me not being a native English, sometimes my prompts are better than native English people who created them. I don't know why, but there've been cases when someone created a prompt and they got no information, and then I created a different prompt and I got all the information I wanted. So prompt engineering is a thing, and it will be even more required when we will have Einstein. So, but from obviously, I would have to see the document, how complex it is, what information you want to extract from it. So it's a case by case, to justify if this is if the IDP is the right tool for this type of documents.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, and I can actually post a link. I believe this is the correct one to quotas and limits in our chat here today, in case some folks want to take a look at that documentation. Then you can also get to the other IDP documentation that we have on our site via this link. You can click around. Yeah. So yeah, simpler sentences, more clear works better in general is what we're getting from our audience here.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes you need to be very specific with prompts. So, for example, there was one of the customer wanted to capture a specific value from like a table, right? And it wasn't like a line items table. The table was crazy, it was the different type of value depending on what's in the header, what's in the side. So I had to create the prompt that actually says that what is the value for value A and the variation C. And it was able to actually identify the crossover. Yeah. So it was able to identify that I want this specific information from this crossing cell. So, you have to be just creative with prompts. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was the balance we were trying to strike with Einstein, the fact that we want to train it using your own data, but we don't want anyone else to be able to access your specific data. So there is a bit of a learning curve, and I think it will learn with you as you use it more in your environment, right? Because the trust layer, right? We don't want to share your personal information or your business top secret sauce with anyone else. So I know that there is a bit of a learning curve too with the prompts.
That's correct.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, we're hearing from a lot of folks this similar experience, a trial and error approach. Awesome.
Regex, yes. ChatGPT is a lifesaver with Regex. Yeah, what I found out from my development experiences. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Oh, still got chats coming in. Yep, keeping it simple, sweetie. I love that, Diane. Amazing. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. I only had Rafa scheduled until 8:45, and so he's been very generous with his time. And he's been here past his time. So appreciate you being here.
I'm in the UK, so it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, he's ready to go. He's ready for his happy hour. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. Thank you, Rafa. Kieran, I'll connect with you offline on your question around the difference between Einstein and LMM models that we're currently using. We have some nice documentation around that. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. I will send out the recording in a follow-up email. Like I said at the beginning of today's presentation, sometimes it does take up to 24 hours to do so. And additionally, I will be selecting at random 3 folks from today's session who joined us in person to receive a coupon for one of our certifications. And so look out for an email from me later this week. Again, thank you, everyone, and looking forward to seeing you all at future enablement sessions. Bye, all.
Thank you all. Bye.